And we are live. And welcome, everyone. We're starting right on time this morning as we allow everybody to get in here. We're going to say good morning over here on the PST, the Pacific Standard Time. Carolyn, welcome. And we're looking forward to another wonderful time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good morning.
Beautiful. Anything special you want to report before we get into our little discussion?
Oh, just a beautiful morning. I know this topic is really can be a heart wrenching topic. You know, uh, dealing with threatening illnesses. I know I've gone through that, or not me going through it, but family members going through it. So I know that this one is going to be a great one
Thank
to
you.
discuss, to talk about.
Yes, and definitely. Um, I'm wishing you a speedy recovery. Those things take time just because they happen maybe 2 years, or 3 or 4 years ago, or something like that. It takes time, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it not for myself, but seeing what other family members have gone through, just experience that, that can be a heart wrenching situation. So,
Beautiful.
absolutely, definitely a serious topic that we'll be talking about today.
Well, we have our wonderful Michelle Gento is on the. She's with us this morning. Welcome and right on time. That's what I'm talking
That's
about.
right,
And
Michelle. Hey, girl.
it's really good to see you, Michelle. So we're going to be talking about a subject that some people we're going to step on some toes this morning because some people are going to like I don't want to hear nothing but what I've been hearing, and that's understandable because people get comfortable, but we also know that being comfortable isn't really what we want to do in order to change. We can't be comfortable. If we're comfortable, we'll never change where we are. We just get pretty complacent and we'll accept it for what it has been, and we want to change that. uh,
Absolutely.
we would like to also welcome Watch What the Health. Namaste, namaste. It's so really, it's great to have you here. Um, if you want to, of course, come on up here and you also welcome to. You're at home. Make yourself at home, so feel free to come on up. We'll get the message and boom, we got it going on. This is a really. Oh, go ahead, Carolyn. You wanted to say something?
Oh, and I was just agreeing with you as far as them being at home. I'm gonna actually drop the invite link. No pressure, but I'm gonna drop the invite link in the comments for anyone that would like to join us. Always welcome to do so. So
Excellent.
absolutely.
Good. So we're talking about today. We're going to be talking about the coping with life-threatening illness and serious health events. Now, this is definitely something that it's been discussed before. It's a great articles on this particular topic. But what I wanted to do is to get into the part of it that when we start talking about religion, when we start talking about traditions, beliefs, and this is such a huge part of the way that we eat. And it seems that this is very difficult to get through to people. Much of the treatments that people use today not only have much to do with their uh, medications that they take, the food that they ingest, but it has so much to do with their beliefs. So we wanted to really take a look at this and see if we can come up with some kind of way to accept, yeah, the different traditions and the beliefs, but can we also help ourselves with a nicer balance or a more effective balance between allopathic medicine and holistic medicine? And it seems to be that kind of, um, I guess, when we face this constantly, every time we talk about the nutrition, when we talk about the science and all the other things that are together, people are constantly eating the way that they eat, not because that is um, something that will keep us healthy, but there are ways that we eat because, again, we've become very comfortable with those things. So let's go ahead and get started. We know that your time is very um, just is very. I'm searching for words. You got to wake up. We're looking. I'm looking for the word of. I know that your time is very valuable, and I'm so glad that you're here, and that we all find ourselves worthy of each other's time. When it comes to the lies and some of we've talked about this those things, disinformation, disinformation and misinformation. We talked about lies and traditions and myths and all those kinds of things. Lying is still, of course, is pretty problematic. And physicians have been known to use deception when it comes to their patients. And that's a bad reputation to have. And not only with their patients, but with other third parties. Welcome over here to Instagram. We're very happy to have you here with us. And good morning to some of you. Good afternoon to those of you that are here with us today. We're going to wait for our brothers and sisters to get out of that warm bed and join us in a few seconds as we go on and on. I love to get up in the morning and get things going. It's a beautiful experience. So let's continue. We're talking about the deception, and there's a lot of deception when it comes to the way that we eat, things that we believe, and our traditions. So, in knowing that these are they're going to be a lot of arguments, there are going to be a lot of debates, but the truth is, when we look everywhere in the world, you have people that have different ways of eating, and the way that they eat is connected to their belief system. And now that also stands for those people that are getting constantly sick by, um, after the fact. For instance, like those people that are reactive to certain ways of living, living and eating a certain way, and then after the fact. Let's look at after fact a little bit. After fact meaning that these are people that wait until they get sick and then they want to take care of themselves. And this is what we want to start this conversation about, because should we wait and just take the risk of someone being available to take care of us? I mean, even is that even fair today? So I say no. I don't think that is fair. I think that we should take the responsibility of taking care of ourselves. And if we should need help as we get older, then yeah, well, that'll be a choice. But it isn't really about our families being inconvenienced for us. We have to be responsible for ourselves. Now, I'm not talking about the inconvenience of maybe staying with your parents, or maybe staying at one of your parents' homes, or somebody in the family has some rental property in this event. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. Those are things that I think we're supposed to do as a family. But I'm just talking about when we become so comfortable and we think that we can live any kind of way, eat anything that we want, just drink anything. And then if we get sick, then, we're supposed to look to, or we expect that we'll have somebody there to help us, and have somebody there to raise us from, or to just correct the situation. And that's not always the problem. A diagnosis of cancer and heart disease or other serious illness can be devastating, but there are ways to cope with the emotional distress and preserve our quality of life. Now, belief systems are mostly to blame for uh, when it comes down to reaching or reacting to health. I'm gonna. I was just glancing over my notes, and this is getting me more tripped up than it. So I'm going to go from my head. Like when it comes to the things that we are facing on a daily basis, and like I said, the diabetes and heart problems, and when we talk about atherosclerosis, the hardening of the arteries, and when we talk about cancer, all of those things that are that may be a diagnosis. How do you deal with the life threatening illnesses? How do you deal with those serious health events? And I don't really want to take a lot of time on talking about how do we act when we find out we have a certain diagnosis. The main thing is that we can help stop the spreading of that diagnosis, and we can improve our health by eating better. Start with where we are and what we have. However, we have people that become very lax when it comes to eating certain foods, and very lax when it comes to certain behaviors. And what happens over time, that beautiful person with the incredible shape and the wonderful physique, man or woman, what happens? They lose it because they lost the control of eating or putting anything in their body. Now, it is your body, and you can do whatever that you want to do with your body. But when it comes to saying things like, this is my body, nobody can tell me what to do with my body, and I'm going to do what I want to do. Remember, keep that. If you keep that attitude constant with when you get sick, and you're like, this is my body, I don't want nobody touching it but me, I'm sick, I need help, it doesn't go together, does it? So it's really about holding fast to the responsibility of oneself, so that you can take care of yourself and you don't get caught up in not taking care of yourself because you expect, or you look forward to, or you feel that somebody else is responsible for your health. Okay, so we'll stop right there for a minute. Let's go ahead. Carolyn, what you want to chime in on that?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Zarif. As far as being the taking that proactive approach, because you mentioned waiting until you get sick. That's something that I tend to be aware of, and I made that decision to go plant based, not because a doctor told me that I needed to, but just because me just thinking about longevity, and said I need to go ahead and make that change and make a difference. So that part really, struck a nerve when you mentioned waiting until you get sick, because if you wait until you get sick, that is too late. Absolutely.
Yes. We want to welcome our love Nini, believe it is. Oh, yeah. Uh,
Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie.
oh, okay. Hi, Nini. um, well, the things that exactly, it's like you were talking about earlier, some of the things that you were feeling like with a close family member that passed, and that is one of those feelings that is very hard for us to deal with as we um, move through life, and we want to forget those things, but they're unforgettable. And uh, wouldn't it make more sense for us to really just take care of ourselves, and so that we can, perhaps, I think that we'll have the way that I feel about, and I know it's hard to tell anybody how they feel about anybody that passed, but I too have. When you live long enough, you're going to experience somebody dying in your family. That's just the way that this is. But in the meantime, um, I noticed that, well, like in you care, you definitely take care of yourself despite whatever happens around you. You still take care of yourself, and that's a beautiful thing. I love that.
Absolutely. Thank you
And
so much. You know,
yeah, and just keep doing that because that's what it's all about. Uh, I like that you get, like more and more into, life. You have fun with it. It cracks me up when you talk about you and Lily with the
I know. And that's so funny. That was a karate class that we took like in junior high or something. And I always remember that one move. But yeah,
it's
definitely.
hilarious. The guy that's on TV that the karate master and the other guy, the assailant, has a knife, and he said, "Come on, go ahead, attack me," and the knife guy just stabs him and cuts him up everywhere. And as the guy is dying, they say, "You weren't supposed to do it like that." Man, that's Jim Carrey. But back to over here, we're talking about today. We're talking about coping with life-threatening illness and serious health events. Let's see if we can actually talk about some of those things that really can make a difference as far as how we deal with things, and the way that we deal with things. And let me just put this up here. The way that we deal with things today is pretty much we take advantage of, like when we find out that there's some kind of medication that is helpful. For instance, the medication now that one can take, and they won't get the positive result, or they don't detect a positive result from taking certain medicines if they have HIV and AIDS. Well, you would think that a person would say, "All right, now I'm really get it together. Now I'm gonna get healthier, and this is a great opportunity to launch from." But instead, you have most people that are saying things like, "Oh man, I'm so glad now I can finally have sex without a rubber." And that kind of mentality, instead of them choosing how they can be even more, shall I say, responsible, they choose a way that they choose a way that they can be more lax. So this is not only important for us to know, but it's also important for us to spread throughout our family so that we can keep health first. Now, I know everybody isn't going to eat the same. I know that already. I know people going to eat their ribs, and I know people are going to eat their hog maws and pig nose, and they're going to all of that stuff, the pig snout. I see you up here. I want to bring you up here so you can see them faces. Um, but anyway, the eating anything from the pig, and not only black people in America, but black people all over the world have these different ways of eating, and it didn't just happen in America. It's happened all over the world, and it continues to happen. And people have pickled pig feet and pickle snouts, and just I see Shirley the pigtail, yeah, all of that. Welcome, Shirley. And we have all of these different ways of eating, and these aren't black ways of eating. These are survival ways of eating. If you look at Lagos, if you haven't been to Africa, if you look at just it on YouTube, you'll see the different. There's many ways that there's many shows that show you the way that people eat, and these are ways that people eat. I remember seeing one of I think she was called not the queen of, she was one of in a beauty contest, and I think she was Miss, I don't know what, Cameroon, or she was Miss somebody, and they were eating food, and she was eating like they had the big old maggots. I mean, maggots that like as big as your thumb, huge maggots. And this was a delicacy, and they would dip it in. There was a dip it and eat it. There's also in some Philippine, all not all, but there are many Filipinos that'll have. There's one delicacy that Filipinos eat, and they're baby rats, and they dip the baby rat into while it's alive. You don't suppose eat this why they eat these while they're wiggling and wanting to escape, and they dip them into a sauce and then they eat them. There's other people, like if you come to America, when we're talking about America, chitlins are colons. Is in your colon, of course, we have waste going through the colon. And no matter how you wash these, you cannot prepare these good enough to wash the stench out of it. And remember, it's tissue that absorbs. So that waste is in the very tissue. So we still haven't gotten away from that. But guess what? We can get away from this. Things like pig skins and things like when people are eating parts of the goat or mountain oysters. Mountain oysters are testicles from the cattle. I mean, I don't understand that. I don't. Can somebody explain that to me? Put it in the comments or come up and explain how can you do that? And let me start it off by saying that the way that we eat, what we eat, isn't because we found out that yummy, yummy, that's good. We have learned to eat out of urgency and impulsively we eat. For instance, a long time ago, years ago, even past hundreds of years ago, we there was a time that the tribes were in the bush, and we had to go. The men went out with their weapons, and they uh, caught what they were going to eat that day, and they would do that every day. Well, those tribes are still eating the same way. Now, we in America and parts of Africa isn't like that at all. There's just like their metropolis, just like we live in LA or Detroit or Cincinnati, Chicago, so forth. So, but you do still have people that didn't want to move with the time. And that's what happens when we don't change with the time. We don't have to eat like that anymore. But what happens, you have a lot of people that do eat like that. And when we get sick, it breaks up, it causes a lot of pain in the family. When a person passes, it causes a lot of pain in the family. And many of which there are some people that can't help it. They're sick. They've been sick a while, and we've done all that we can do. But there are other people that are just careless, and they'll put whatever they can in their mouth. They'll eat anything, and YouTube and Nat Geo really proves that point where people will eat anything. Now, to eat anything, and let's take it all the way up to raw, which I think is one of the most disciplined ways to eat. If you go all the way to raw, that is like night and day. They're two opposites. And then you have vegan. Now, vegan is definitely that's another highly disciplined way to eat. So when we look at vegetarian and vegan, and when we look at raw, these are three areas that takes a lot of discipline, and we haven't learned the type of discipline that is necessary for us to eat in a way that will keep us healthy. And over all of the years that I've had the pleasure of educating, one of the things that is very, very important, and that is to understand yourself, loving yourself enough to choose better ways to eat. We'll continue to eat just like out in the wild if we don't change our habits. Now, with chitlins and hog maws and tripe and all of these are different parts of animals, all the guts, anything. The only thing they don't eat off of these animals, and they can be domesticated too, like cows and goats and all that. But the only thing they don't eat, people don't eat, would be the skin. Okay, and I think we are also talking about like these disciplines, the disciplines that I'm talking about here. Yes, it takes a lot of discipline, and we also invite these different types of life-threatening illnesses to our lives when we don't focus on changing that. Now, some people would say to me, like, I eat what I want to eat, and then I take I'll do like a couple of, what are they called, the cleansing. I'll detox. And when you really look at detox, there's no such thing as, the detox is just a word that gets this sold. But when it comes to it, most of what people think are detoxes are nothing but some um, relaxed stool. So they're laxatives, and the waste moves through the body, and people feel sometimes they'll cause diarrhea. And what happens when you have diarrhea? Everything comes out in a very watery form, and then you feel empty. But a lot of times, what do you feel after that? You feel like, wow, I got all that stuff out my body. It feels a sense of cleaning out because everything has come out your body. You getting the waste out your body. Well, a colonic, or also a colema. Colema and a colonic is the same thing as an enema, except an enema doesn't go as deep as a colonic or a colema. And there's a syringe is they use a syringe with water that is gently flowing, and it is inserted in one's anus, and goes past the rectum, and that lower part of the colon, called the descending colon or the cecum, that is what is mostly affected. Now, it doesn't go higher, but they do what is called a colema. Some doctors or healers have a slant board where they'll run the water in the individual, and they'll be on a slant board to get even deeper into the colon. A lot of times, these colemas or the colonics are, excuse me just for a second. Thank you. These kalimas and these colonics are, my voice is creeping up on me. That what happens is that um, people feel that they've cleaned out all the waste, and it's just like a fast. After you finish a fast, you feel like brand new. It's like, okay, I'm starting from the beginning. Well, excuse me. A lot of people actually they use this as an excuse instead of using this as something that a person would use to get themselves keep themselves stronger. They'll use it as an excuse, and they'll not eat those foods that will help them to remain strong. So, and what I mean remain strong is to maintain their health. Whenever we eat something, our body starts to break it down to use it to help us repair, to help us convert it into energy, to help us convert it into fuel. So when we eat these things, these are some of the things that are or some of the things that go on. So I'm distracted, like I don't know what right now. Just reading so many. Let me stop reading these notes. Let's go get back to again. There is no technically a detox is a form of getting the waste out. I just went through it myself with the colonoscopy, and the colonoscopy. I think I'm just gonna leave it up the way that it is, but like, and when I looked at it, it was like looking at molasses, real slow. So, but anyway, take it for what it is, and we're all putting it together to make things work. Now, back to these belief systems. Belief systems are more likely to be blamed as we're looking at the reactions of the health challenges that ones have that people have. Whenever you're eating these foods and you're thinking that, you know what, I ate a lot of ice cream or chips or whatever, and you want to start from the beginning, you start eating this food, and then you take you're cleansing the food. Well, guess what? Yes, you are having your causing stimulating a bowel movement, but as far as the body cleaning itself, that's done by things like your liver and your kidney and your pancreas. This is also done by a mechanism of your small intestine and, of course, by your large intestine. So we have systems in place, and systemically, it does its thing already. It's not like you have to take something or go and buy something. And people get, I gotta take a detox. I'm detoxing, and I am so. It is so regretful when I hear that, because it seems to push us back. Here we go again, but we get caught up in the religion. The kind of religion I'm talking about is like, I'm not just talking about Christianity or Islam. I'm talking about people that believe in black magic and voodoo and hoodoo and every other thing. So it comes with the belief. Now, I'm not challenging anybody's belief. That's that what you want to believe. That's what you want to believe. Some people that I'm the closest to are the people that believe differently than me. So, there's things that depends on the background. How did you come up? So if you came up and you were learning black magic and you learning hoodoo and voodoo and so forth, that's a part of your upbringing. I don't think that that is the basis for not loving a person or not talking to a person or not dealing with a person. You have to know the parameters before you just hop in there. But yes, a lot of times with the way that we eat and the way that we treat ourselves has to do with the traditions and the beliefs. Now, there's two versions of a conventional survey using vignettes that were randomly distributed to all internal medicine residents at 4 teaching hospitals, and this is back in 1998. The survey versions differed by introducing slight variations to each vignette in ways we hypothesize would influence the respondents' willingness and their willingness to deceive. So what I just said was that there was a back in 1998, they took students and they wanted to see how many students that really didn't mind deceiving the patients. Well, they found that all of them, not a part of them, all of them did not agree with that. So I'm saying that for those of us that have an ugly picture about doctors, not all doctors are knuckleheads. You do have those doctors that just want to, do a thing and get a certain amount of money and so forth, but it's not really to the point that these are, you cannot trust doctors. They're all bad people. They're giving you stuff that'll hurt you. Yeah, we got some really, really toe up history. But let me tell you, there are some doctors that really love what they do and they love being in a position to help another person. And I just wanted to put that on your mind, because I think I would not be responsible. I'd be irresponsible if I didn't. I'm going to let me bring Carolyn up here so I can get some noise up here other than my Carolyn. So far, what you hearing and how you feeling?
So far, so great. Just the information alone. I think sometimes, I've been listening to you for years in regards to eating healthy and, doing the right thing. You're a huge reason why I decided to change what I was doing. So just here, sitting back, listening, taking notes, and just getting all that information is just really just really great. I just appreciate everyone here in the live as well. Looks like YouTube uh, live viewers are out winning the Facebook, but I'm just here taking the stats and just taking all the information in.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We have to get past the whole debate over allopathic medicine and holistic medicine. We have the opportunity that we can bring these medicines together. Now, grant you, holistic medicine have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and even more, maybe centuries, but they still work. You have many of them like golden seal, it still works, right? You still have ginger, it still works. Capsicum, or you have red pepper, cayenne pepper, it still works. It can go on, milk thistle and so forth. There's so many, they still work, but that doesn't mean that you don't use anything else. That means that these are some of your choices that you can use as you're keeping your body healthy with other things. There's three major things that we talk about all the time. One is what? Exercise. The other one is what you eat, eating nutrient dense foods. And the third one is getting some rest, some deep sleep. Now, those are the three things that keep you. Look at Carolyn. She's so beautiful. She got a skin, there's not a wrinkle anywhere. And that's really beautiful. And then we have other sisters and brothers like this. You got naturally beautiful skin. You got naturally, some of you are born with this asymmetrical wonder. You look really great. But then sometimes we just get a little lax, and then we got everything starts to spread. And that's not a bad thing, but it's like there's things that you can do about that. And I've seen more homes with different types of equipment, and that has turned into hangers for clothes than I've seen anything else. It's just getting used to doing that, hearing it and putting it into motion. Not going head up with anybody. Ain't nobody got time for that. If that's what you want to do, if you want to jump off a cliff, that's on you. But I'm telling you, here are some things that we can do to better ourselves, and that is to make better decisions and to choose the food. You can't. Can you just really intelligently expect your body to be in better condition by eating food that is detrimental to you? Do you expect to be healthier because you've eaten that? Well, here's the truth about that, and think about it. If you eat some goat and you're hungry, you may have another chance to live. If you eat cow, or if you drink cow's milk, or if you eat snake, or if you have those bush animals and monkeys and all that other stuff. Yeah, people eat that. People eat giraffes. People eat, I mean, stuff that if you think again, if you want to check out what I'm saying, you will get plenty information and more on YouTube when they talk about, what people eat in Africa, what people eat in Europe, what people eat. And you'll find that all over the world, people will eat some stuff that you'll never, ever touch. And you're not interested in it. But then you have people that maybe right around, they can pretty much eat anything. I don't care about that. That's not my purpose today. The purpose is that we have the opportunity to choose. If you can choose to have gold along with your money, your dollars, and you got $1 billion over here, and you can have gold to add to that billion, are you just going to go ahead and say, nah, y'all go ahead and take the gold? No, you want to get as much as you can. This life is really, really short. If you're living approximately, which we are, let's say between men and women, we're living about we're about 75.5 years. Okay. Suppose we have 75 years to live. A third of that you're going to use doing what? Sleeping. Another third of that you're going to use going to school or working. right in there. That's about that time, right? You go, but you don't go to school as long as you work. So I'm combining those two. Now that's 50 years that you're doing somebody else's thing. Or might some of us might be lucky enough to do our own thing, like be an entrepreneur or a CEO, so forth. But when it comes to um, the living that last part, you have another third of your life to live, right? Now, the third of your life to live, now, if you're raising children, if you starting a new business, if you're doing other things, that can also take up time. Your child had to come back and live with you. You had to leave town and go to New York or live somewhere else. There's a whole lot of stuff in life that happens, but you still have you down to about 13 to 15 years left that you can really use for yourself. So instead of messing up your time with I won't say I'm not utilizing your time in the most productive sense. Okay, that's better. So we want to start making better decisions so that you won't end up in the hospital with your atherosclerosis and diabetes and heart disease and so forth. Now you might say, I've heard this before, my friend told me, my teacher told me, and so forth. But until you can turn this whole situation around with the way that you eat, then the way that you sleep and the way that you exercise will still suffer from this over and over and over. So let me read a couple of notes here that come from a few of two major philosophical differences between allopathic medicine and alternative medicine. Number one, allopathic medicine constantly treats the disease, not the individual, whereas alternative holistic approaches maintains the connectiveness of the human being to its environment, both internal and external. Now, I have to say that allopathic medicine, which means Western medicine, is changing. It's changing. There's a lot of things that are changing now. If you've gotten a exam lately, you'll find that the many things have changed. It's not just here's a needle, and here's, okay, good, let me check your temperature, and you out of there. You do have doctors now that are even asking you, like what's they're asking more in depth. They're stilling themselves. They're not rushing in and rushing out. So you do have, I can feel the whole new shift when it comes to seeing doctors. Now you have to be, you can only be helped as much as you're willing to help yourself. And that's by telling the truth about what's happening with your body. Now, if you're not comfortable talking to a man, I'm talking about a female that's talking about her body to a male, get a female. Ask for a female or change it up. This is your life. If you're a male and you're not comfortable with a female talking about your body, get another one. Get the gender of your choice. But it's really important for you to know that you should be getting an examination, taking care of yourself. Don't become your own doctor. I've been many times challenged, like, oh, I know what that is. I do that. I'm not talking about that. When you say, I take a couple of pills for this headache. No, I'm talking about when you avoid getting checked out. Like if a woman say, I did this, I learned how to check my breast, that's all I need to know. No, get a breast examination. And a shout out to all of those people that are working hard this year, including my daughter Amira, and during this time, and Tanisha during this time, Yakima during this time, all of my wonderful sons. I have two sons that are just incredible, and I know that they have been raised to respect females in a way that is acceptable and respectful. So everybody just really take some time to make a decision to go get treated. Yes, it's spooky as hell sometimes when you don't know about it, but that's because you're not aware of it. But if you are not aware of it, make a call. Can you go through the steps that will I would have to take in order to get this or to get that? Now I just got a colonoscopy, and because it was explained kind of different, it was different than the last time I went to get a colonoscopy because my colon has been um, uh, healthy. And the last time I got a colonoscopy, everything was negative, and I don't have to go back to see the gastroenterologist until about 10 years. So I'm not worried about that. But in the meantime, I'm going to take care of my colon. Now I'm not going to get lax on it. So that's what I'm saying to you. Just because you feel good, just because you look good, just because you got, yo, what's up, shorty? You sure fine, all of that stuff. It comes down to you making the decision to take care of you because you can put up a front and you can look like you are doing great, but inside of you, you don't want to get these diseases and illnesses they're not reversible. So you have to accept these diseases and live through your life with them. And with that, many people are also affected by it. People talk about Hippocrates, and Hippocrates' discomfort with the prevailing belief of his day that supernatural possession uh, causes disease. Supernatural possession. This is the way that they believed even back then. And that made him an adamant proponent of the natural cause of disease, cause of diseases. So a lot of people that in the past, when people say back in the day, that doesn't necessarily mean like they'll say, like back in the day, black people used to eat this way. We had berries and we ate herbs, and it's never ever been like that. I've never ever seen that ever. And even today, show me a tribe that just eats berries. No, those tribes cannot just eat just berries because they won't have enough for their families, for one thing, unless they live on a farm with all of these plants. But if they don't and they live out in huts and they're out in the wild, people are eating the foods that will keep them alive. Whereas all of us that are listening, most of us, look, we are eating foods that are not only we can choose with foods that are tasty, but the ones that are available, they are eating foods because that's the only thing available. We make a decision because we want a certain taste. We want the euphoria. That's good. It makes your eyes roll back. Some people would take good tasting food over sex. I'm doing those comparisons because we get euphoria from both of them. But when it comes to taking care of yourself, if you don't make the decision to choose healthier food, get your rest and your exercise, simple stuff, you'll end up facing things like overeating. Now, overeating is eating to the extreme, frequency of eating and portion balance. Now, usually, if you want to change some of these things so you can reduce your life-threatening illnesses, get smaller plates, reduce eating out. That's like in the fast food and the quick service restaurants. Reduce that. I didn't say stop it, reduce it. You should not be eating from these places every day. And when you do eat from them every day, then you get the kinds of results that we know of and that we're speaking of today. The primary concerns that produce derogatory results are eating animal flesh, animal byproducts, artificial flavoring, excess seasoning such as sodium, artificial sweeteners, artificial coloring, refined foods, preservatives, GMOs, fungicides, pesticides, and herbicides. These are some of the things that we need to keep in mind as we continue to make choices. And this is what this is all about. Talking about this, the way that we eat and the way that the choices that we make, because many of the myths that have been produced comes to us via the acceptance of lies and the acceptance of just some of these stories that people bounce around and they've been doing them for years. Just like you will hear a young man say an old saying, like, I heard that, and it doesn't make them old, but you can see that that's the way we do as humans. We continue to pass things down. We're probably still saying some of the things that were said years ago. Okay, like I said, I'm not going to keep you long, but I just want to share a couple of things with you. Here are some of the things that we can do to help to reduce, again, these life-threatening diseases. And again, some of the life-threatening diseases are the ones we hear about all the time: heart disease, atherosclerosis, type 2 diabetes. We have um, cancer, and a host of other things like some of the accidental deaths, like or people that are giving false positives or a negative positive. Sometimes we make big mistakes on these types of medication. And let me say this, that's rare. That's rare because this is from years of study. And when a person knows that you have, like, for instance, high cholesterol, and then they say, oh, high cholesterol, bam, many different choices shoot in their mind. And then they say, oh, I think I'll do this. And they'll go ahead and write you a prescription for that. But these are things, don't be afraid of what can keep you healthy by saying things like, I don't want this chemicals, or it's synthetic. Synthetic just simply means to make. Chemicals are everything. Everything that you think of is a chemical, can be broken down into a chemical. Everything you can be broken down to a chemical. Water is H2O. Sugar is CHO, or C6H12 O12. And this is, I'm sorry, O6. And it's very hard to, if you don't study this over and over, and if we don't reiterate this and go over and over it with you, it's easy to put to the side. Why? Because most of us don't love ourselves enough to even listen to this. You say, oh man, I heard that before. I do what I want to do. My aunt lived to be 820, or some crazy stuff. And then you end up finding that, yeah, but did you know how sick your aunt or your uncle was at 86 years old, or at 90 something years old, although they continue to eat in a certain way? But that again proves again that some things, there are different things that are the exceptions to these different rules. Okay. So I'm going to read this, and then, well, let me go back up to the stage. Is anybody want to come up here? Well, I want to say hello to everybody that's here today. We're going to let you out of here so you can get, we're coming up on an hour. Want to say hello to, man, this is a good one right here. Sidamiyana. I think that's how you say that. I want to also say hello to Dedham Nailed, Lady Annie B, Kendra Awandman, and Saint Evenson 650. Wow, this is sound like all brilliant people here. Um, yeah, thank you very much for being here. And again, we want to thank everybody here, giving a shout out to the beautiful, gentle family with Michelle and Carolyn and, and Cheryl Lee. And we got Nene. I want to say hello, everybody. You guys are just absolutely the best. Thank you for being here. So, are there any questions? I'm going to look in. If you have any questions at this time that you would like to ask, just go ahead and put your questions there in the comments, and then we'll read it and see if we can make some sense out of it. Okay? We'll give
I,
you. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, right ahead.
oh, now I was just gonna say, just in regards to you mentioned, people may, they don't make that decision to change, because instead of understanding that they can reduce it and not have to actually stop what they're doing completely. I think some people think about, if you if I change, if I change, that means I can't do anything I used to do before. And that's not true. You can start off with baby steps, and then you eliminate things here and there, just a little bit, but it doesn't mean that you have to completely, as they say, go cold turkey and not do anything that you used to do. And really, I'm talking about as far as eating, because I think that the nostalgia of it, right? Being able to say, "Oh, I just love the taste of, steak," or the way mom used to make her chicken, that stewed chicken, or you know, um, it would just be that thing where you have to understand that you make that small change, and then you gradually get to that point where you don't even need it at all, you know. So I just wanted to mention that when you mentioned, reducing, and not actually have to go all the way and stop.
Yeah, exactly. Great point, Carolyn. Yeah, you don't have to like when you eat foods, you don't eat a food and bam, you die on the spot. Nobody does. I mean, it's just some people have maybe this or that they that they may eat, and they may say, "Oh God, I've been terrible this weekend. I ate a lot of whatever. It can be sweets, or it can be a lot excessive meat, or it can be I had bacon. I don't eat bacon anymore, or whatever. People eat what they eat, and it doesn't mean just because you eat it, you're going to die on the spot. But you do have people like myself and other activists that may say, here's a better way to eat. And that's what we're supposed to do as humans, evolve, don't we? We're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to get better. So I wouldn't have a purpose if I was here talking about the same old stuff that people's been doing. And I say, do it, keep doing what you've been doing. No, I want to be out there with Elon Musk. I want to be out there with all the people that are making these great changes in the world. And I know it sounds like I'm joking, but I'm serious as it comes, because I want to make a difference when it comes to eating. I've seen the difference. I've seen people that were to a point that they were sick. They were large, 350, 375 pounds. And because they worked with me and I worked with them, they are now healthy, and they did it little by little. They didn't do it by just, okay, I guess I can't eat white bread. No, I can't even, there's foods that I can't fathom, but I've been doing this stuff since I've been 9 years old.
You
You
know, it's
know,
funny. When you mention I can't eat white bread, I always remember, um, this was before I even made that switch. I overheard you talking to someone saying, "Man, I can't believe people still eat this stuff." And you were talking about white bread. And I'm over there in the corner and I'm listening. I'm like, "Really? White bread?" I'm like, and then from then on, that was the moment where I never ate white bread again, because I overheard you. You weren't even talking to me. It wasn't even directly to me.
oh,
I heard
yes,
you
I
tell
was.
it. Well, I felt like it wasn't, but I mean, I took it, so it was. But it was like I heard you talking to someone else, and I was like, okay, and I just stopped eating white bread. So that's just to say, you mentor a lot of people, directly and indirectly, because at that moment you weren't talking to me, but I heard you and I made that change. I took that action right away.
That's
So thank
awesome.
you for that. Yes.
Thank you, Carrie. That's just definitely awesome because I mean that's what really, you already had seed in you because you it didn't take uh that long for you to grab a hold to that and make that happen in your mind. You just needed that little, sometimes we just need that little boost. And then being around, you can't get healthy if you're in a environment where everybody's drinking sodas and smoking cigarettes and eating a pork chop sandwich, and you just forget it. That's not going to happen. Now, I know that some people say, I have a plan. Well, good. If you have a plan and people not going to that side of the cabinet, and you got all your goodies in there. I had to go through that before I left home because I started really early, and my mother allowed me to have a cabinet to myself. I boiled my water. This is how far this goes back. I boiled my water way before they had all this. Now they've always had there's always been companies that filtered water, and this way before I was born. And that is, people used to, they still do it, and they have the water. You might see it in the different bottles and so forth. Water is a huge business now, but it's really up to the individual to want to do better. Let's just spend a little time on the self-love again. This isn't about, when I say self-love, I'm not talking about self-care. I know that's a real big thing today. People talking about my fingernails, I want to do my hair, and you're talking about people want to do things, and they feel that that's all they need to do. But let me just add to this: when you take care of yourself, that means understanding your limitations, your strengths, the things you want to accomplish in life. You're confident. You are a person that makes choices that will benefit you and others that are connected with you. Get it? So the higher your self-worth is, the higher that self-worth is, the more important it is for you to eat in a certain way. If you're not, or you're just eating because vegan is hot today, or you're eating a certain way because whole food plant-based is hot today, is trending, then you're going to find that that's not going to work a long time. But people that put their whole lives into it, I think one of the best ways to eat on the planet for me is vegan. That's that's me. Whole food plant-based is important also, but and there might be portions of that. I'm saying, make a decision and stick with it. Now you got people that are still gorgeous and they eat everything in the kitchen, and you're like, how in the world can these people look like this and act like this? And that's the you'll feel that that would have something to do with it. But you'll find that again, there's exceptions to the rules. Some people are born in and they break down foods a certain way. We're talking about hereditary now, and some people are around eating. They're in an environment that they eat these certain foods, a lot of fried foods and a lot of sweets and a lot of salt. Well, you usually can't get you can get away, but you just can't get by with that, or the other way my mother used to say it, you can get by, but you can't get away. And that is because those are foods that are detrimental to the human body. Okay. So there it is. The love, the more worth, the more you are what you are eating. There's a saying, you are what you eat. But what you eat is very important because it also it makes it changes our mood, or it stabilizes us, or it gives us energy. Um, and this is really important because it makes you into like a cantankerous person, or it makes you into a person that is, um, kind and balanced. So, how we doing? Good. Okay, we're gonna let you guys out of here. Any questions? Anything else? Thank you very much for that, Care. That make sure that you're making the right decisions for yourself. Make sure that you're looking forward to each day with thoughts of being productive, things that you eat that will make you avoid some of the illnesses and the threats of disease. That's what it's all about. I don't care how powerful any man or woman is. If you are not eating the foods that's going to sustain your health, you're going to eventually compromise your health. And by compromising your health can be life threatening. So that is the whole point of today's discussion. I want to thank everybody for being here, and we had a great turnout. Please continue to visit us on YouTube so that you can subscribe and you can get the more information. Sometimes we go more in depth with stuff. Sometimes everybody in a great mood and they come up and they're talking in the squares. We look like Hollywood squares. And then other times it's myself and it's Carolyn, and we enjoy your company. So that is all beautiful, and the wonderful people that come here to visit us and to partake. Let me see. Watch what the health says. Veganism is ahinsma and nonviolent in action. Yeah, definitely. This is watch watch what the health um, is very wonderful. Watch Dominion is an incredible activist, and he's here with us today. Um, and I'm really always really happy to be associated with such a incredible brother that continues to help us to eat better. I'd love to eat in a very healthy way because I love looking good, I love feeling good, and I love performing well. All of that's important, and I can't do that if I'm just throwing anything in my body. We got Eileen Matthias is here. What the Health movie was a very enlightening. Yes, definitely. Matthias, Eileen Matthias have been helping people for years stay in shape, and she's a fitness instructor amongst more things. And I really appreciate you being here today. And you all been shy today, but come on up on the stage. I know women have to get their hair, in a certain way and all that. And guys, we can just throw a cap on or something. But it's good to have you here. And I'm really thankful for that. Thank you for everybody over here at Instagram. Really appreciate you being here. We got a long ways to go, but we are working on getting better. And I do feel the difference. I do feel people are making better choices. And as long as you allow me in your neighborhood, as long as you allow me in your home and on your phone, and you're listening and you're taking down these notes and you're living them, you're putting them into action, we have a chance to be as healthy as we want to be. I'm Dr. Zarif, and before I leave, I'm going to let our co-host do the sign off. It would only be right. Carolyn, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Zarif. Another great live. For everyone here, if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so and turn on your notifications as well. Dr. Zarif, he uploads videos as well throughout the week. And so we would love for you to see that. The latest video that was uploaded is fear of colonoscopy. So that was just him sharing his colonoscopy journey. So thank you to everyone that's here. And if you put something in the comments, you like the stream, you shared it. Thank you all so much. All of that is appreciated. And Dr. Zarif, as always, great information. Um, we just always have to remember here in the mind of nature, our mission is to bring awareness, listen to your feedback. And now, with that information that you have and you've gotten, it's time for you to take action on that information that we heard here today. So, thank you so much, Dr. Zari. Back to you.
Okay, everybody, I just want to go. I'm going to get out of here. Remember, just being black ain't enough. Just because you black, that's not enough. You got to get off your butt. You got to do something about it. The stuff that we're doing, we're giving it to you so that you may use it, and we don't want you to abuse it. We want you to get out there, help yourself, and then help someone else. This is a wonderful opportunity to speak with you all. We'll see you next Saturday at 8 a.m. with another incredible topic. Okay. Thank you all for coming. Watch the health. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. We love you all. Family, gentles, everybody, we love you. And thank you all. The IG or Instagram, thank you so much for being here. Care, you're the one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.